Well, hello everyone. This is Dr. Amig, your friendly rheumatologist from UnabridgedMD. And today is another episode of our UnabridgedMD podcast. It's such a pleasure. It's been a little bit of a time since our last because there was the 4th of July and it's the vacation. And so, of course, the kids don't have school. And so I was taking care of them, or mostly I was just watching them from afar because really, they are more than 7 at this point. So they just play together. I hope you guys are enjoying the summer. It's been beautiful out here in Denver, Colorado, and you can see there's a little bit of wind, but otherwise it's beautiful. And today I wanted to talk about mindset. And the reason I'm talking about this is that I have really cool news to share. I have been accepted for a TEDx talk very soon at the end of September. And so I'm gonna talk. I cannot share the big idea with you just yet. I will share it when the video is out from the TEDx. But it is a big idea, and I think if you have followed me on this podcast, you know that to me, having a disease is not the end of the world, is not the end of life, and I'm a very optimistic person, and that's what we're going to talk about, and we're going to also talk about it today. Okay. And so this comes from a recent interaction I had in a group on Facebook. So I have Facebook mostly for business purposes. And because of that, I wanted to get a sense of what's needed out here and what's needed for my patients, because I feel very strongly that I need to give the best to my patients. And what I basically signed on to be on some sort of group of chronic arthritis on Facebook. And I'm actually very surprised at the posts that are out there where patients who have rheumatoid arthritis, I think it's a Facebook group on rheumatoid arthritis. So patients who have rheumatoid arthritis are complaining, or not necessarily complaining, but just stating how much they always have pain. And I don't really quite get it because I think we have amazing treatments. I keep saying it and I'm going to continue to say it. I will die on this hill. We can get you to remission. Like really, maybe it's not just with our medicine. Maybe it's with some Eastern medicine principle and technique, but we can get you to remission. And so then I realized that a lot of the people who were posting and like mentioning about their disease and the fact that they were always in pain, I kind of understood at one point that it might actually be a little bit their identity. And if you remove that, then you're removing their identity. And we don't want to do that. But I want to pause here and to say, well, if that is your identity, aren't you so much more than the pain that's defining you, right? And can we try to figure out what you are and who you are without thinking of this disease, because this disease, this condition does not define you. And so that's what I want to talk to you about, okay? So a little bit of silence from me, just think very deeply. Are you really defined by the condition you have? Probably not. You're not. You're not defined. It's part of your life for sure. In my case, the cancer was part of my life. It pretty much is still, since I need to do some tests, I need to do some treatment to make sure it doesn't come back, but it does not define me. The way I responded may maybe partly more define me, but really it's not the disease, okay? So how do we do this? Well, the first thing is when you have a chronic condition is to accept. The second is to have a positive attitude. The third is to have resilience. The fourth is to have self-empowerment. And the fifth, mindfulness and stress management. And finally, have support, social support. So let's delve into all of them. Acceptance. Well, there's no point of saying, no, this doesn't exist, right? If you have rheumatoid arthritis, if you have vasculitis, if you have any sort of rheumatologic condition, well, you have them. That's okay. Again, it does not define you, right? So yeah, you have chronic disease the same way that someone, you have a lung, you have a nose, it's fine. So yeah, you do have this condition. Okay, so that's the first thing. I have this condition. So then you can decide, okay, what do I need to do with it? And so then the second thing is the positive attitude. Why is that so important? Is because, well, number one, if you have a rheumatologic condition, let me tell you and let me reassure you that we have amazing treatments. There's a reason I am a rheumatologist, because I'm such an optimistic person. I want to deal with patients that I can get to remission, right? So that is something I love when my patients have rheumatologic condition, because I know I can get them to remission. I can get you to remission. So that is a positive attitude, right? It's coming and to say, okay, I'm accepting that I have a rheumatologic condition, and I'm going to be positive about this. Now I know what I have, and I have this wonderful rheumatologist, like of your choosing, that's going to help me to get to remission. All right. Resilience. So it's not my favorite word, but I can understand why this is important. Resilience in the sense of you have to be able to adapt, right? If you have followed my journey, at first I was diagnosed with stage 3, but then it was stage 4, right? And so you have to adapt. Yeah, you cannot just dwell and say, oh my gosh, I'm so sad. I thought it was only stage 3, now it's stage 4. No, it's fine. You just move on. You're like, okay, stage 4, what else needs to be done? In my case, I need treatment for a much longer time than if I had been stage 3. That's okay. Not a big deal, right? Just it changes, and I have to adapt to this. And that's the same thing. You have a rheumatologic condition. Maybe suddenly you have another involvement of another joint, or maybe now you have involvement of the eyes, or it's okay. We can take care of this, okay? So that's resilience. Self-empowerment. So this one is really important, is there's nothing that will be done without you being involved. In the current world right now that we live in healthcare, unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know, you have to be involved in your care. You have to ask for things to your primary care physician or your rheumatologist, and you have to be up to date, and you have to know that you are the most important person in the field. And the same way that in team sport, there's a captain. You are the captain of the ship, right? Like, you know better than anyone else how your body is feeling. So that is really important, that you realize that you are the most important. There is no such thing as, I don't want to hurt the feelings of my doctor. Like, this is all BS. You are the most important person in this team. You, okay? So empower yourself, because that is what we want. That is what we expect. We expect that you take, that you are telling us what's going on and how you feel and so on. And the doctors that are trying to brush you aside, honestly, just change. I mean, there are other doctors out here. Or you can just have a piece of paper so that you've written down everything and you can just share this with them. There are ways, okay? Mindfulness and stress management. That is, it's funny because that's one of my favorites, because the studies are so clear. There is clearly a benefit of meditation when it comes to inflammation. If you meditate every day, there is less inflammation in your body. And I've had patients that have not needed a step-up therapy just because they started meditating on a regular basis. So highly, highly recommend. I know it's hard. I know for me, it's hard to do that as well. But when I do it, I feel so much better for it. And when I don't have time to do it, I'm always like, I miss it, So highly recommended. And then finally, the social support, connecting with others and surrounding yourself with love, doing things that you love is going to be so important. Okay. So this is so important, right? Like the mindset of that you have when it comes to a rheumatologic condition. We have had in the past guests on the podcast, and almost every single of them are explaining how important it is to have this good mindset. Now, it's easy to say this. It sometimes takes it takes quite a bit of work to get that mindset, right? Because if you have pain, you're going to be angry. If you have constantly pain, you're going to be angry. And I want you to know that it's absolutely normal. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel bad. If you're in pain, you're going to get angry. Normal. All right. The good news is that you don't have to be angry forever, because we have treatments and we can get you to not have any more pain. And then you'll feel like, oh my goodness, I feel good now. And so that's fine. So just start working on this mindset, continue to work on this mindset, because it does help. And then see your rheumatologist, if that's what you have is a rheumatologic condition, okay? Just work together. If it's a cancer and it's an oncologist and so on, work and put them together because that will be helpful. And talking about mindset, I have created with a colleague of mine that's a Tai Chi a practitioner and also an acupuncturist. We have created a reset that is a workshop. I don't like word work, but it's more like a relax shop. And it's going to be the first day of the fall in Denver, Colorado. My goal, my hope is that we can do this outside, but we will have a backup if the weather isn't great. Hopefully, Colorado does give us a good weather. And the places are limited, the spots are limited. I hope you get excited about it because it's going to help us set our intentions, heal. I'm going to do a lot of work, mindset work, and a lot of the things that have helped me as a former cancer patient. And then Cerise has a lot of very, very good technique as well as a Tai Chi practitioner. And we're going to do some Tai Chi as well. And it's going to be wonderful. And I think the community that we're going to create that day, and it's a half a day, so it's not even that involved, I hope is exciting to you. So if you're interested, you can actually email us at info@unabridgedmd.com. And otherwise, I'm going to soon post the link to register. And I'm so excited to see you. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.